Hello, BookTube. I have a little mail for you. Two packages, but one of them is a box. So that's worth your time, or worth my time anyway, to share these with you. I miss doing mail with you every day, and I love that some of you anyway are interested. This first one is a priority mail, so it could be from one of you, which is technically forbidden, since I can technically get out and about now, and bookstores are technically open. But let's see what we have here. Oh no, oh goodness gracious, no, I know what this has to be. Yes, okay, alright, yes. Okay, great, the History Press, fantastic. Okay, this is a fairly niche subject. Can I get more light on my hard face there? Yes, no, maybe so. There we go. Who knows what this very scene will be like in just a matter of a couple of days. Boston is beautiful right now, temperate, 70 degrees Fahrenheit, nice breeze, and heck on earth is coming. we're facing a monstrous little heat wave. So it's 70 degrees yesterday, 70 degrees today, it'll be 75 degrees tomorrow, and then 90, and then 95, and then 95, and then 90, and then 85. So I'm basking in the comfort of today, but who knows what the filming will be like this weekend. But anyway, this is by Thomas Dresser. It's from the History Press, and it is The Rise of Tourism on Martha's Vineyard. Martha's Vineyard is a beautiful island off the coast of Massachusetts, and it's been a fishing hub. It's been a whole bunch of other hubs, but it is now basically a tourist hub. It's a spot for vacation homes, and here you get wonderful archive. This is what History Press does. You get wonderful archival pictures of all the different eras of tourism on Martha's Vineyard, and I know the vineyard extremely well. I have spent a huge amount of time there, on the vineyard and on the much further out island of Nantucket. I know every lake, every pond, every river, every piece of wildlife, every marsh especially, oh my god, every single bend and turn of every saltwater marsh on both those islands. And so it's extra pleasant for me that I am the book reviewer for the Martha's Vineyard Gazette, which I've shown you on this channel. It's a broadsheet newspaper that is a local newspaper, entirely local. There's a huge section of every paper that's devoted to obituaries. All of the editorials are local, all of the stories are local, all the reporting is local. Fortunately, the Vineyard is a fascinating, multifaceted place, so it's possible to do that in 20 pages every issue, every week. And there's a pretty steady supply of books that are either about the vineyard or written by people on the vineyard. And that's where yours truly comes in. So this is from my editor. I noticed there's no note or anything on the book, but I noticed from my editor what I would have intuited anyway, because the History Press wouldn't send me this on their own. This is, I guess, my next assignment. There is the author with President Clinton, who has been a presence on the vineyard. And this is just what that's going to be. This is going to be all of the great high points of tourism. See, can you make that out? There's all the way over on one end is President Grant, and then all the way over the other end is me and Deb. And look at the sour look on her face. Like President Grant can't do anything right. But this is going to be archival photos and the narration that goes with them, describing the rise and fall and rise of tourism on Martha's Vineyard. These History Press books are fascinating. I know you've probably seen plenty of them for your own neck of the woods. They have a vast catalog, and they're always fun. So I will gladly do this. I will dig into it right now. And then we've got the box, and this is a box from a publisher, but it's fairly light, so it might not have much in it. Let's give a look-see, shall we? It's the same kind of box that had that wonderful care package the other day that had 4 books in it. But oh, okay, no, this only has 1 book in it. But boy, oh boy, am I glad to have the finished copy. That is great. It's nice too. Fantastic. Okay, this is something we've seen on this channel a couple of times. This is the Big Book of Modern Fantasy by Anne and Jeff Vandermeer. And this is the finished copy. I don't know if this is going to be one of those big books that has simultaneous release of a hardcover and paperback. Some of them do. I don't know if this one does, but it doesn't matter to me. This is an anthology of fantasy stories that aren't really canonical. That, you know, not the founding stuff, but stuff by living authors in quite a few cases. So who have we got here? I know you're going to want to know. I won't read everything, but let's see who we have here. So Nabokov, Borges, Paul Bowles, Manly Wade Wellman, Fritz Leiber's in here. Lean Times in Lankmar, the whole of Lean Times in Lankmar. That's great, fantastic. Amos Totuola is in here. That's the worldwide remit is going to put authors cheek by jowl with authors that in combinations you would never otherwise get. Gabriel Garcia Marquez is in here. Michael Moorcock, The Dreaming City, is in here. Boy, those Lean Times in Lankmar and The Dreaming City are both fantastic choices. They're really strong stories. J.G. Balladur's in here, The Drowned Giant. Satu Walteri. Wow. Bulgakov is in here, The Sinister Apartment. Calvino, The Origin of the Birds. See, so you're going to get a lot of authors who have gone into the canon for non-genre work. But you'll also get, I'm sure that this thing is absolutely chock full of fantasy standards. Yes, Joanna Russ. Ursula Le Guin. Okay, so not only living authors. And the Ursula Le Guin story is The Ones Who Walk Away from Omelas. The subject of an Ursula Le Guin anecdote of mine. where a pasty-faced little bookworm came up to the microphone during a Q&A session at an event that I'd helped to organize with Ursula Le Guin, and very carefully said, "How do you pronounce the name of the ones who walk away from Omelas?" You could tell it's just this poor little newt's the highlight of her entire life. And Ursula Le Guin said, I pronounce it Omelas, but you can pronounce it any way you like. But she was an absolute delight. So who else have we got here? Angela Carter, The Earl King. Great. I love that story. Tales of Dragons and Dreamers by Samuel Delany. Great to see him in here. Greg Bear, C.J. Shera. The Ice Dragon by George R.R. Martin. But also Leslie Marmon Silko. A story called One Time, which I don't think I've ever read. Sister Light, Sister Dark by Jane Yolen. So, and here's, you see one of the reasons why I tend to go back and enjoy the Vandermeer anthologies that are a big one for science fiction more with time, because they notice, they make a point of picking the author's best stuff. I mean, Sister Light, Sister Dark. Let's go on here. Luck in the Head by M. John Harrison. M. John Harrison, the author of the Veraconium books. That I would probably, I don't remember off the top of my head if Luck in the Head is a Veraconium story, but if it isn't, it should be. If you're going to put Lean Times and Lankmar in here, then Veraconium should be what represents M. John Harrison. But Stephen King is in here. Oh, how wonderful. Mr. Todd's Shortcut. That's the name of the story for those of you who love him. Let's see here. Ben Okri. David Drake is in here. The Fool. David Drake doesn't get the credit that he deserves, so that's fantastic. Leonora Carrington. Good Lord. There's a name. Murakami is in here. TV People. Angela Carter is in here another time. Alice in Prague is the second story. Terry Pratchett is in here. Good. Okay. Do we have any Tanith Lee, Joe Hill? So there's another Stephen King. Do we have any other doubling up? I'm amazed that Stephen King isn't in here twice. I thought sure he was. Wow, and then the second page here of the second page of People has virtually no names that I recognize. Garth Nix is the only one that I recognize. And this volume is going to have, like all the big books do, it's going to have a big introduction, and then you'll just be straight into the stories. And the stories are done pulp style in double columns, and with a nice floppy binding. These are volumes to have and to keep. So this is great to have this. So that's it. That was the mail. It was two relatively new books. I think the Rise of Tourism on Martha's Vineyard must be new. 2020, new enough for me. So we have the Big Book of Modern Fantasy. Delightful. I am so in the mood for anthologies. So in the mood. And The Rise of Tourism on Martha's Vineyard. Of course, this book was written and sent to press before the biggest change imaginable in tourism on Martha's Vineyard, and that change is only going to accelerate. It's not going to slow down. It's going to get worse. And that change, of course, is a worldwide pandemic. What do you do if you are a tourism destination during a worldwide pandemic? What do you do? I don't know. The Vineyard is in the process of finding out what you do. And so is every other tourist hotspot. So that there's an unspoken, unwritten chapter to any book like this that I will probably allude to briefly in my review. But I'm gonna dig into this right away. I'm gonna dig into both of these right away. I'm gonna make a point for the Big Book of Modern Fantasy today of picking out 4 or 5 stories that I don't know, that I haven't read, or maybe even 4 or 5 stories by authors that I haven't read, and read them first. Because I've read through this book a few times with my advanced copy. I'm going to concentrate on some of the authors that I don't know, and then I'll read, fresh from them, I'll read some of the stories in here like Lean Times in Lankmar or the Joanna Russ that I know really well, stories that I know really well, and that'll be fun in its way. So that is your mail for today. Big one and a little one. Don't know if there's more coming, but if there is, you'll be the first to know. I'll either make a video or I'll save it up. So one way or another, I will see you soon. Thank you, BookTube.